Hey everybody, welcome back to Golden Dragon Honey. We're here at Hive II. As I mentioned this morning, we got just a couple hours of sunlight. I ran through Hive I, got some pictures I'm going to put out. Found a couple of queen cells, which is exactly why we get in there as often as we do, to make sure they're not getting ready to swarm. It looks like something they kind of do just for practice sometimes. Didn't look like there's a lot of intention as far as replacing the queen they've got, who's in there just killing it, just filling frames. I've got some pictures. In the meantime, I'm back over here at Hive II, who were originally my problem children. They were stinging me up. It didn't look like they had accepted their queen at first. As it later turned out, they were kind of just building up real bass backwards. And you may notice kind of this hive doesn't look like Hive III over here, which is sort of my golden child. Which is really going the way you hope things are going to go. We got these larger brood boxes on the bottom, followed up by a medium up top. That's going to be sort of their own reserve storage. Typically, even without, I tend to go without a queen excluder. I'll put more mediums on top of this for surplus honey that I can then harvest. I don't tend to find that the queen, even in a sort of thriving hive, will go beyond much the bottom of this. That's sort of larger than the space in a domestic hive that I've found a queen will typically lay in. Things are a little different with Hive II. You may notice this is wider material. This is a 10 frame, which I had some equipment donated to me after the passing of a longtime beekeeper in Cumberland County. I started with exactly what I hoped for. The large body on the bottom. Because it's 10 frame equipment, because it can get a lot heavier, I'm running mediums on top of that. And I had a great deal of honey surplus left over from a hive that didn't survive. They went into winter with a bunch of honey. I don't think they survived very long. And so I had a huge box of honey, really heavy, started off with that on top. Installed the bees into the bottom frame and left them some room because, as you guys know, I've been going back and forth between the Portland, Maine area and my new home here in the Northeast Kingdom in Vermont. And almost immediately, I have a completely blank frame here. Almost immediately, the entire cluster moved into the top box where all the honey was and just absolutely bunkered down there. Did not move from there, would not come out from there. So it's not all bad news. Now, unfortunately, this bottom box, because I just threw it on top there and I didn't clean it out before installing the bees, it is completely propolized. It is completely locked down to the extent that when I got in there a little over a week ago, I tried to pry up one of the frames, and it is so glued down in there that the frame was breaking as I was trying to pull it up. I've never done that in my 9 years as a beekeeper. I've never seen that. I'm gonna have to figure that out on my own. In the meantime, they are killing it as far as moving back up into the space. So what I did was I took that box that they had moved into, that they were kind of stuck in, that had made me think that there wasn't a queen. I moved that to the bottom, put the medium and a large on top, and as bees will do, they are growing up into that space. I'm trying to get, and that is all kept brood. You can see some of that darker brood in the middle is most likely just about to hatch out. And we've got a lot of that in this second box here. As you can see, I don't want to jinx myself. I'm not wearing protection. I'm not being wildly careful, and I'm gonna smoke them just a little bit. But as I mentioned, they had been sort of very, very defensive of their space when I first moved them in. Less so now that we've kind of reorganized the hive. I would love to put my eyes on the queen. That may or may not happen today. I am not gonna get down into the bottom box today because, again, that's tricky, and they are really nailed down, glued down tight in there. What I am probably going to do is come back next week with my veil and really get in there and pull that apart. I have been toying with the idea of changing these ladies back to 8-frame equipment, which is what I'm used to. Sorry, thought I saw her for a second. And so that will mean kind of pulling those frames apart if need be. Problem has been that a lot of my 8-frame equipment is out at Doobie Farm. As I'm wrapping up my time in Maine, we're going to be getting that and bringing it out here with a moving truck in the next couple of weeks. So I wonder if you guys can hear me over the traffic. We're not exactly off a main road here, but we're not exactly not off a main road. We're kind of wedged between that and a small dead end. Ooh, here is a good frame that they are just filling up with some nectar. You can see there. There's a good chance I could shake that and it would fall out, so I'm going to be pretty careful. They're depositing nectar in there, and then they are going to flap their wings over it to bring down the moisture to less than 18% water. And once they've done that, they'll cap it over. And that will be the finished product. And I am not seeing the queen, not expecting to see the queen on this last frame. Oh, I did jinx myself. So I am going to put this back together after I picked a little bit of this kind of wild comb they've built out between one frame and another. Actually, probably going to move the frames around a little bit so that they'll be more likely to draw the comb out. Oh, one got me on the finger and one got me right on the end of the nose. They're still not as bad as they were when I first got them. I'm not worried about that little nick. But I am gonna wrap them up and let them get back to work. I'm not seeing any sign that they're running out of space or that they are imminently looking to swarm or looking to supersede their queen. They've got plenty of space. Oh, didn't get me that time. Plenty of space up in this box here. And once we've kind of filled out the boxes in general, then it's not ideal, but I am going to start kind of switching things around so we can get on a more kind of expected trajectory with brood in the deep box here, that being on the bottom, and then having space to work up to where they start to kind of cap off the hive with honey, and then we'll have surplus above a certain point. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'd love to hear your questions.